Hello, everybody. We're going to do a unique little topic tonight. We had an election last week, and so there's a probability that we'll have a new administration come in January, and they are planning and talking about changes that they're going to make. And I just wanted to address them. We are getting emails because the president-elect has indicated that he is going to dismantle, abolish, get rid of the Department of Education. And so I just wanted to address that. In the little bit of knowledge that I have, I'm nobody important, but I have done this for 27 years, which has included plenty of Republican presidents and plenty of Democrat presidents. So I'd like to first start out by saying, in my 59 years, I've never seen a president or a Senate or Congress do anything amazing for education. And I've never seen either one of them do anything amazing for special education. So let's kind of break down what the Department of Education is and what that may or may not mean. First of all, I would just say that it's very, very, very hard to dismantle a federal department. But it has happened over the years. And so I wanted to give you some examples of when that has happened. So dismantling or reorganizing over the last century, because I figured that would cover some time. Although it's rare for entire cabinet level departments to be removed, the responsibilities are often absorbed by other entities or reorganized. One notable example is the United States Department of War, established in 1789. This week I felt like I was born in 1789. It was responsible for the operation and maintenance of the U.S. Army. After the conclusion of World War II, there's a major restructuring of the defense establishing, leading to the creation of the Department of Defense in 1947. The Department of War was effectively absorbed into this new structure over the National Security Act of 1947. And its functions were transformed into the Department of the Army within the Department of Defense. Okay. The United States Department of War was the dismantling took 2 years to complete. Another example is United States Department of the Navy, which is now the Department of War, which along with the Department of War was incorporated into the Department of Defense into 1947. This consolidation aimed to ensure greater coordination between the different branches of the military. Next, the United States Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. So it used to be called HEW. Department of Health, Department of Education and Welfare, HEW, was established in 1953. It was later split in 1979 to the Department of Education, which was created, leading to the formation of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, which we now have HHS, thus dissolving HEW. We no longer have a Department of Welfare. While entire departments are often not outright removed, reshuffling of their functions is common practice to address ongoing government needs, streamline operations, and response to political pressures. Okay, so I looked up because we have branches of government, and nothing happens in a vacuum. I have lots of opinions about the federal government and government entities, whether they're at the state level, the district level, the county level, the school level. I find that they all move, say with me, slow. I do know that we need many more investigators in the Office of Civil Rights. That was cut from, I think, like 6,000 to currently we have like 2,500 in 50 states. So while I love accessing the federal government, it's really, 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 really slow. Okay. So what I do know is, and I just have some listed from the last, I was going to say 20 years because it says 1980, because I feel like 1980 was 20 years ago. Often you will have conservative candidates talk about that when they get in office, they are going to get rid of a department of whatever. So whether it's Department of Education, Department of Congress, Department of Commerce, Department of Energy, Department of Education always seems to be at the top. Department of Commerce, Department of Energy, getting rid of the EPA, getting rid of the National Health Institute, getting rid of the Department of Energy, getting rid of the Department of Education, the military. Energy and education have always been at the top of conservative politicians of what they're just going to get rid of it. And so here's what little bit that I do know. We're always going to have education in America, and it's going to be funded. It's part of our tax dollars. How it's funded, I don't know. But for me, I care about children with disabilities. I care about all children in education. And you have to understand that the Department of Education was made after two important things for us. In 1973 was the Rehabilitation Act, and that is where we get our protections under the 504. And then in 1975, December 2nd, was Educating All Handicapped Children Act. Both of those are acts. They're the Rehabilitation Act, which means it's congressional, it's law, right? So we're talking about laws and government agencies. They're two different things. And I don't know anything about anything, so don't ask me, right? So our civil rights are not going away. Our protections are not going away. From what I looked up into congressional bills, and again, I don't know anything, if in fact that would happen, it would be moved partially to the Department of Treasury and partly to the states. It would be a massive undertaking. I don't know what the point would be. So I just want us to know that we're not getting rid of Andrew F. We're not getting rid of FAPE. FAPE and civil rights existed before the Department of Education existed. And so this is a country that takes care of its children. Maybe not the best in the world, but we're the only country that has state and federal funded special education services. And so I don't want you guys to be afraid. Anything that we're ever going to come across that doesn't serve us, we're all going to lobby. Where we live, our lawmakers, our fact finders, and if in fact that could happen with the sweeping of a pen, you can't. There would be 8 million people opposing that from all sides, from both sides. So all candidates have big mouths. I would be a great candidate, wouldn't I? So I got a huge mouth. If they call me, do you want me to be in charge of the Department of Education? Everybody gets a pink jacket. We all get lipstick. But I don't want you guys to be afraid. We don't make good decisions as humans when we're afraid. I don't understand all the happenings of government. I do know from the little bit of time that I've served in appointments for the mayor's office for Houston and then on the board of Texas A&M University, it's a lot of talking. It's just a whole lot of talking. And so I think those things sound great. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't find in history that those things have happened other than there have been some that have been absorbed. Should that person have said that? Probably not. Because education is pretty important to everybody that has children, and that's how we raise our kids. But whether they said it or didn't say it, or what the other opponent said, I just don't want you as advocates and school-based members to be afraid and panicked. We have processes in place that if we disagree with something, there can be litigation, things go in courts, there's lobbyists. And so I just wanted to address it because it's coming across every question. Like somehow I have something to do with it. Like I can just, hold on. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, don't do that. All right, bye. I don't know anybody. Nobody knows me. But for us, I don't think it's a benefit to talk about, well, this is going to happen. And as we're advocating for families, you guys can all talk about whatever you want to talk about. But, for the people that I've trained, what we try to do with our clients is not make them more worried, not make them more fearful. And, whatever comes, then we'll address it in a way that we can legally address it, lobbying, petitions, whatever that is, if in fact it comes at all. In my little tiny life of 59 years, I have never seen education, general ed or special ed, ever be a priority for any politician. Name one. And we know from the state level, education bills sit on the floor. We can't even get them to the second committee of the sub, do you know what I mean? And I just think that, I think it's great. I mean, I would meditate about it. If you're a person of prayer or faith, commit it to, if you want to journal it. But I just don't want you guys to make yourself more upset about something that um, it's not that we can't control it, but we have every legal right to respond to things that we don't agree with in a way that's beneficial. So it's just my purview. It could be 100% wrong, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was interesting when I looked it up. I was like, we don't have the Department of War. Maybe we should have that for special ed meetings time. So I just wanted to share my position. It's nobody else's position. But there's just a lot of running around yelling fire. And there may be a fire, there just isn't one right now. And so I just want us to keep, as we do this, the main thing. But I'm certainly happy to answer any questions in my little brain that I know nothing about as it relates to that. So I'm going to turn the recording off.